Hi everyone, my name is Vera, and today I invited my good friend. Please represent yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Siddharth. I'm a hospitality professional. It's been like 10 years in hospitality, overseas in India. So yeah, here I am.
Yeah, so today podcast will be about differences in food in Russia and India because he lives in India and I now also live in India, but I'm from Russia. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna discuss 5 questions and share our own opinion and experience, right? Let's start with the first one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So the first question is, what are the main differences in daily meals between India and Russia? What do you think? You can tell us about your state.
My state. So I born and raised in Dehradun, so familiar with Uttarakhand. In our home, we usually eat parathas in the morning. For the lunch, usually dal and chawal with some kind of chutney. For the dinner, normally any vegetable, like you can sell cauliflower, you can make beans, you can make anything,
So
and then it will be made up with the roti.
So mostly it's vegetarian, right?
Yes, because I born and raised in a vegetarian family, so yes.
Okay. Because in Russia, usually, let's say, we also have a meal 3 times a day. In the morning, we usually eat eggs or some pancakes or porridge, which is very common. And then for lunch, we like to eat soup, like something like a liquid. And for dinner, I think we usually eat some kind of potato with some meat, like cutlets or sausages. But yeah, Russians are not vegetarians at all. We like meat, fish, seafood, everything. So
I think it's
this
also
is the main
because of the
difference.
climate over there. It's like
Yeah.
people really need the meat over there to make their body warm. What I really think.
Yeah, so I think this is the main difference. And I also think another difference is that our food in Russia is quite plain, and your food is spicy.
Yes, like
Most of the
Indian
time.
because they are using a lot of spices.
But why? What is the main reason why Indian food is so spicy?
Because if you see, like there are a lot of big companies, those who are doing the masalas pre-batch in a packet, so it contains spices already in there.
Okay.
So when you use these masalas in your food, it make your food a lot of spicy. It's not only that they're putting, because most of, if I talk about me, I really don't eat a lot of masala, but I eat Indian food with a lot of green chili. Like I love green chili because it doesn't make my mouth burn. Because what I think why Indian food is spicy is that it comes from the back from the history, and that spices they kind of make kill bacteria in food. So because you have a lot of street food and a lot of let's say sometimes not a hygiene places where the food is cooked. So I think that people start eating spices in order to kill the bacteria because they just cannot survive there because this is very spicy. What do you think? Am I right or no? I think I'm not talking about the hygienic part because India is a very big country and to feeding this amount of people in a metropolitan city is very hard.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like somehow I can say like it's not hygienic, but these kind of shop is pocket friendly for everyone.
Yeah.
So they are cooking fresh. I think it's not like you're living in a very big house and you have freezing your food for 1 week, and it's the same thing. So as I mentioned, like if they're making like food in a morning and then it's finished in the morning itself by people, so I think they're still I would say healthy for your body. And yes, as you mentioned, spice. Yeah, it can make sense out of it, like to killing the bacteria. But again, green chili, I would say yes. If you go like northeast part of India, they have a lot of spices, chilies, and the people they are eating chilies like a vegetable on side of their meal.
This brings me another idea of the difference between daily meals is that Indians they cook once per meal. Like for example, you do breakfast, you eat it all, everything together. Lunch and dinner the same. You cook, you eat. In Russia, we usually sometimes prepare the food like for a few days, especially if it's a big family, like parents. In my case, they were cooking for a week, because they were working and I was studying, so there was not much chances to cook every day, let's say. So they were cooking like I don't know, some soup which we're eating like at least few days, let's say. Maybe not 1 week, but few days.
But for Russia, I would say it's more practical because it's very cold country. You know, the chance of food to get spoiled is very less. But India is like I would say some of the part is very dry. Like as I'm in Rajasthan right now, so right now the weather is decent, but during the summer it's like get crazy. Even after this global warming part, like the countries and cities that they're getting very hotter and hotter every year. So yeah, so for you guys, like I would say, it makes sense to have this cooking 1 week and keeping in a fridge.
How is vegetarianism perceived in both cultures?
Okay.
I think I'll start because it's very short. In Russia, we don't have many vegetarian people. Like we have, but it's very specific people who decided that they don't want to eat meat, fish, and everything, and they're gonna follow the vegetarian diet, let's say. But it's not very common. And as for India, I think it's a very common thing. Like I think India is the country which has the most amount of people who are vegetarian.
Like you know, the people are very spiritual here about what they have, you know, the culture which they're getting from their parents, and but yeah, I would say like you know during the time like during decades, the graph of now non-vegetarian people in India is increasing. But yes, still you can find yes, I think India is a capital of vegetarian people. Yes, I think it's more about the spiritual belief and the culture they have grown up. I think
So it's connected
yes,
to religion. Yes. So another question is, which dishes would you recommend each other to try from your country?
Oh, like personally, if you're asking me, in the morning, parathas, they are like best food ever. And from the lunch, dal chawal, no doubt, kadi chawal, rajma chawal. For the dinner, there's so many options. But I would say if you're non-vegetarian, try butter chicken with the garlic naan, extra garlic.
Yeah, garlic naan, I love it. The dish which I would recommend you to try from our country is, of course, borscht. We would make it vegetarian for you. So it's basically a soup made out of beetroot. Beetroot, some potato, cabbage, and usually we add meat there, but it also can be vegetarian.
But
you eat it with the bread and some sour cream.
But for lunch?
Yeah, usually for lunch. Like it's a hot soup which you usually eat. I think it's one of the best dishes.
But what
like
you call it porridge?
No, I call it borscht.
Borscht, yes, yes.
Borscht. I think you've heard about it. And then another thing, I think it's pelmeni. I love pelmeni. Pelmeni is like dumplings, but with meat. But it can also be with some other things.
But do you like fry it? Like
no,
gyoza?
It's just boiled. I just like it boiled with some.
I have eaten in Georgia something like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it.
But no, they have hinkali.
Hinkali, but
Pelmeni
it can
is
be
a small
non-veg.
version. Yes.
But you have a bigger version.
So hinkali is big, but pelmeni is small. They're like small.
So I think it's like kind of dim sum.
Yes, kind
dim sum,
of.
and every country have the different way to say the word. Okay, but you cook at home?
Yeah, we cook at home. That's super nice. This is what you're gonna try when you go Russian. Okay, next question is how important is tea in Indian and Russian cultures, and are there any unique traditions related to it?
Oh, I think the tea is introduced in India by British. Tea, I would say, it's a part of Indian life, Indian people life.
But you have a specific tea which is like with milk, sugar, and some ginger, right?
Yes,
like
we
call
masala,
it masala tea.
Yeah, you can masala tea. Yes, masala tea is now a new name, but in home we usually make a ginger tea. You know, if it's winter, we do ginger tea. If it's not winter, you make cardamom tea. So masala is like more into the market now because people creating these packets of masala, which is not really required for making masala. So you need a lot of ginger and cardamom. That's it. These two flavor should be added in the tea. Yeah. So I think tea is.
Yeah, because I love masala chai, which like we call masala chai, but sometimes like without masala actually. As for Russia, we do drink a lot of black tea, like black tea, which you usually eat with something sweet. For example, after dinner, you sit down with the family, you make this black tea, and you eat it with some sweets or some jam, some stuff like this. So it's like kind of a dessert with this hot tea. Cool. My answers are so short, and yours are so like long. Okay, let's go for the last question. Now, what is the attitude towards street food in India and Russia?
So India, uh, blessed with food,
Yeah.
every part of India, and street food. I think doesn't matter how rich you are. If you have tasted the street food, you probably wanted to go back. And every people have their own favorite person who's making the street food. And
What's your favorite street food?
I love bantikki. Like it's like a burger, Indian style burger. So they use with the potatoes, and then there's a bun. They roast the bun in oil like this, not completely deep fried. It just they just warm it with the big pan.
I think
And
tried
then
it in Pushkar, right?
yes, they have put different kind of chutney like tamarind, mint, and yogurt, and then some onions, and then they bag it and cut, and then you eat. So this one I also like. I like dim sums. In my hometown, Dehradun is known for the dim sum. You have
Yeah, I tried it as well. It was so good.
you have,
In Russia, we don't have street food. That's it. I mean,
but you
it's
probably have kind of small coffee shop.
like yeah, but it's not street food. This in Indian culture to have this street food where you go out and you see pani puri here. There's some people making some other stuff, but in Russia it's not like this. If it's a coffee shop, but it's still like let's say civilized place where you go and you pay by card and you have this kitchen, the full one or whatever. And the street food like this doesn't exist in Russia, as I.
But
think so.
you live in China, right?
Yeah, in China
So
they have
can you
street food.
tell something about the Chinese street food?
So it also depends on the place. I lived in Beijing, and they also have a lot of these like kind of bazaars where you can go, like local market, and where you can try also this street food. There are places which are touristic places where you go and try like fried scorpions or fried
fried
sea stars or some stuff like this. I tried, and it doesn't make any taste. It's disgusting. They also have kind of like a small shops of the street food which you can go and eat, but still like the amount of this street kind of the trolleys, let's say they basically doing it in a trolley, right? I didn't see it in China that much as in India, and I love for this India because it's so cool. Like if you're hungry, you go out, you have always something to eat. Cool. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much for this discussion. I think it was very interesting, and I hope our followers like it.
They will like it. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
You can write in comments what is your favorite Indian or Russian food, and you can also write in comments which is another thing we should discuss about the differences of Russia and India. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.